I do not think that anybody should have to do what I did. I was burning the candle at both ends for, the better part of a decade. But and I don't think anyone should have to do that. But like the union talk about pro wrestling and stuff like that, I think.
What's up, Josh?
What's up, man? How are you? Sorry, I'm late.
No worries. I know the elephant in the room. No, I didn't get beat up by you. I'd be probably much worse if that was the case, but just got that.
I wasn't gonna ask, man. I've been there.
I know someone who has had multiple injuries like you. Yeah, you would know, but no, for me, it's just like a nose job, basically. So nothing serious here. Had it broken years ago, and finally it was time to fix it up.
They set the bone. You mean? I've had that before,
Yeah.
and then it just re-broke again, so I stopped.
Oh my God. I broke it years ago in high school when I was playing baseball. Like I was those arrogant idiots where like instead of just tossing to first base from second base, I decided to run and tag first base. You know what I mean? And I collided with the dude head on. So it was just a problem for years. Finally, I had it fixed and it was issues. They didn't fix it right. So I had to have it again revised. So hopefully now it'll be intact,
Keep my fingers crossed for you, man.
Exactly. Hey, I mean, you're a good inspiration. You've recovered from so many things. You know what I mean? If you can do it, I think a simple nose thing will be fine.
Exactly. For me, it's all mind over matter, man. It's just
no, it
if
really
I think
is.
It's okay, it'll be okay.
Even like recovery thing, they're like, oh, they like gave me like hard like pain medication. I'm like, I'm not taking this. I didn't even end up taking like a Tylenol or anything. I just like went through. I'm like, I'm good.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Just a little bit of pain is sometimes like it makes you feel more alive.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I had my neck surgery. They gave me like a Coke can size bottle of Percocets, and I was just like,
oh my God.
I remember I took one the first day I got home from the hospital, and I just didn't like the way it made me feel, and I never took another one. Like,
yeah, it's like, obviously it comes with its downfalls too, like temporary relief, but longer term, sometimes casualties for it. So, it just gutting it out if you can, a good method to do it.
Exactly.
How are things in Louisville?
Things are good. It looks like it's about to rain as I look at my hotel window, but other than that, man, things are good. I've been talking about Impact Wrestling all day. We got the television tapings coming up the 16th and 17th. And pumped.
Do you like those trips? I mean, you guys just came back from Atlanta last weekend. So do you like kind of doing the weekend trips in a sense, like kind of around the South right now, but is a nice little getaway for a couple nights, or do you like it more like bunched up closer together and then have more time off in between?
Well, it's like, I think I'd like more time off in between for sure. But like, then again, it's my job. I come from 15 years of hard labor, waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to, punch my ticket and punch out every day 12 hours later. So doing this kind of stuff where I get to talk about something I'm passionate about, pro wrestling, Impact Wrestling, it doesn't seem like work to me. Like other people might think that the travel and, being away from home and stuff for a few days at a time is work. But luckily I had to do some real hard labor throughout my career. So now I'm pleasantly, fine just sitting in this hotel room talking about wrestling for my work.
Yeah, they're like, you lived the passion. And I read about that. You did construction until like recently too, right? This hasn't been like something like, oh yeah, I left it a decade ago. Like you're actually like multitasking, actually doing real labor work and wrestling, huh?
Yeah, well, for me, like I got 2 sons and I got a wife, and when I signed with Impact Wrestling, I probably could have quit my job. To be honest, I could have survived and provided for my family off of that, but there was just this added security blanket of like, if you get hurt, what's going to happen? So like, I kept my job, I kept my benefits, I kept my, it's not a 401k, but it's a pension up there in Canada and stuff like that. So it was all just, about solidifying and locking up my future if something were to happen. And
right,
luckily I got pretty far in that construction gig to the point where I'll have a job forever if wrestling ever isn't a thing for me. So at least I know I'll be able to provide for my family still after this.
No, that's super smart. It really is. Not only having like a skill, which is great too, to have that sort of backup plan, but have something you're good at and know how to do. But yeah, it's important because you never know when an injury, you know better than anyone with all these injuries that, what can happen, be taken away. But yeah, you have small children to take care of and all these things. That's an important thing, like, have you been one of those kind of people that have always wondered about like a union for wrestling or sort of that, like helping it? Cause like that kind of shows in a sense that some wrestlers, are living the high life in a sense, but it can be just taken away like that. And what's your backup then? Like, you think that'll ever happen in this industry, or just kind of having this sort of backup is what people need to do in a sense, model it after you in a way?
I mean, I do not think that anybody should have to do what I did. I was burning the candle at both ends for, the better part of a decade. But and I don't think anyone should have to do that. But like the union talk about pro wrestling and stuff like that, I think for sure, like especially like the guys that are in WWE and maybe even AEW now and probably Impact Wrestling, like something along the lines of what the SAG card is for
Yeah,
anybody that's a
for
part of
actors, right?
Hollywood and stuff. Just some sort of union to provide benefits, at least for us and our families, because like, this does take a toll on your body and you will be feeling it long after you're done in pro wrestling, regardless of, whatever might happen to you. Even if you have like the shortest career and you don't take high risks, you're going to feel this in some capacity. So, it would be nice to have that in the future, but, luckily, like there's a lot of people that are involved in this business, and if they stay involved in this business even after their time in the ring, all those companies take care of them and their injuries and all that other stuff. So there's a balance there that is for sure not really highlighted when people are talking about that union stuff. But you never say never in the business. I'm not optimistic it's going to happen.
Fair. But, even like, heck, even like NFL, where you make millions of dollars, you see a lot of these former stars and they're broke now and with medical issues too. So it's a wide ranging thing for not only just wrestling, but just like even sports where, the money's big and all that stuff. Cause you got to remember, not everyone's at the top making the, $100 million deals. There's so much of every sports league and wrestling company and all that is just, majority of it just regular sort of wages in a sense too. So it's kind of a fascinating view when you think of like sports. You think of like all this billion-dollar businesses, but later on in life, it kind of gets away for a lot of people, especially if you don't take care of your money.
Yeah, it's an education on maturity and stuff like that. A lot of these people make money far too soon, and they don't know the
Yeah.
value of a dollar, right? So
Yep.
like I'm a basketball fan. So like Allen Iverson, Antoine Walker, these players made hundreds of millions of dollars
Oh,
over the
yeah.
course of their career. And they've been like highlighted and talked about with bankruptcy stuff. And just because, they're buying their friends' houses and cars and, taking care of family and all this stuff. And like your circle grows when that money comes. So
Oh, I'm
you got to
sure.
be
Some of you have
responsible,
friends
man.
you didn't know, right? Popping out of
Exactly.
every corner. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's life. You got your head on it right. So obviously it's a whole different perspective when you have a family to take care of. It's not about you, it's about them, and what you do in life. So that's actually a really grounding good thing. And you certainly have done a great job that and in the ring too. Ending streaks for Joe Doring, like you are just unstoppable right now, especially after the Slammiversary match. I was going to ask you about that too, because like I love the fact how you and EY just brought out like the classic moves of all the guys there. There was just like something predetermined you guys did on a fly, because I thought it was like a super creative way of taking the match and just adding that anniversary feel to it too.
Well, it kind of all started at Rebellion. I had the idea to use the Styles Clash as a transition to go to the ankle lock because it's right there in front of me when I land from
Yeah.
the Styles Clash. And I wanted to tip my cap at, somebody that, started this obsession for me. And I wouldn't be a pro wrestler if I had never discovered AJ Styles. So, it started there. And then, leading into Slammiversary, talking about the 20-year anniversary of this company and me starting as a fan, as a 15-year-old kid sitting on that couch in 2002. Like
Crazy.
I was such a fan of this company, and mainly like my gear tip my cap to Kurt Angle, Samoa Joe, and AJ Styles, the three guys that really inspired me to be a pro wrestler. I wanted to, kind of like write a love letter to the first 20 years of Impact Wrestling in that main event at Slammiversary, because I feel like it was a good way to, sum up the first 20 years. And we did that with the callbacks in there. And anybody that was a true TNA or Impact fan highlighted and saw those right away. And for those who didn't, they just saw a kick-ass wrestling match, which is fine too.
Sure did. Yeah, you guys really put on a show. I was on that conference call with you and EY, and I was, we're all anticipating what's going to happen, and it definitely delivered. So that's always good. Do you feel proud of it too? Like when a match delivers at a big event too, where the eyes are on you, and obviously as a champion, you have that high kind of, I guess, the shoulder, the burden to bear in a sense, as a champion and for the whole company. But is it like a relief sort of feeling? How do you feel after it really goes well and such a big show?
I mean, you summed it up. I've always put a tremendous amount of pressure on myself. I've held myself to the highest expectations possible. And now as champion, it's compounded times a million, not only for myself, but because I'm representing the company and I'm representing this locker room. And I have so much respect and love for everybody in that locker room that I want to do well. And for before I want to do well for me because I'm a psycho, but now I want to do well for everybody else, and that makes it like even more like than I could have ever imagined. Because like, I don't know if you have siblings. I don't. Yep. But like,
I have older sister.
Somebody can come up to me and say whatever insult they want. It's not going to bother me whatsoever. Like, things roll off my back easy. If you come up to my best friend and you say the smallest thing, I'm going to get my feathers up and I'm going to react differently. You know what I mean? So like, it's one thing for me to feel the pressure for me, but to feel that pressure and want to deliver for everybody else, I think it makes it that much bigger. And I'm honored to be in the position I'm in. I'm very happy. But you definitely feel the pressure to deliver in those moments, especially on the big shows like Slammiversary. But that pressure also, when your back's against the wall, when you feel like the weight's bearing down on you, that's when it's up to you to rise to the occasion. And luckily, I've always done that. I've always been able to do that. So knock on wood, it continues.
Yeah, no, it shows a true like elite talent and a leader, if you can actually come through when it matters. And you've certainly done that. And it's crazy is like a lot of your career has also been like part of a tag team, and now you're a singles guy and on top of the company. You've had a nice career trajectory, and you've done a lot of different things too, which I keep on remembering the times with you and Ethan Page, too, and seeing you now, both of you guys succeed in singles run too. It's like, do you kind of look back at that and see where he's at now and when you're at now, because you guys were so like tied in together for a period of time. Do you like what he's doing with his career too? Because obviously, you're on top.
Yeah, like I none of it surprises me because like we were a very well-known tag team in Impact Wrestling, and we had tag prior to that on the independents across PWG and some other companies. But we both had very prominent singles careers throughout the North American independents for a very long time. So we both faced a lot of the best wrestlers in the world in singles capacities before we got those opportunities. And now, every opportunity I get, that's why I'm able to, as they say, hit a home run when that pitch is thrown to me, because I had all that experience built up from the years before I got to Impact Wrestling. The same goes for him.
Mm-hmm. Are you guys still close and in touch and all that? I know it's tougher when you're in different, schedules and all that, but you guys still have that bond and friendship?
No, we don't really talk much anymore. We're both in separate sandboxes. He is, working for the competition and, I'm swamped doing my thing, man. That's how life goes.
Huh. Interesting. Sometimes just paths go a different way, it's a kind of story of life, right? Different times, different periods. And, yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, maybe you guys will reconnect down the road eventually.
Oh, maybe. You never say never, right?
Exactly. Not in this industry too, right? That's one thing we know. We've seen too many crazy things. I know you're such a wrestling guy, but I'm curious, like, what are some things you like to do as hobbies, like outside of wrestling, when you get the time, whether with family or not? Like, I know I spoke to Moose recently, and he's like a big comic guy, big Marvel guy. So we were talking about like Thor and all these things and Doctor Strange. He's huge into that. I was wondering if you have like sort of like an interest like that outside of the ring.
I'm a big basketball fan. I always have been. I got into basketball as like a 13-year-old kid watching Vince Carter. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so
yeah. And T-Mac in those Toronto days. Oh my gosh, that was the good time.
Exactly. And that obsession has followed me my entire life ever since then. But so I would say basketball is a big thing. And other than that, man, I'm pretty easygoing. I'm not like, I'll watch comic book movies and stuff like that, but I'm not mad into them. I can't really play video games much anymore because I'm not good at them, because the older you get, the worse you are. I don't understand it. My 7-year-old could dust me at pretty much any video game. which is embarrassing. But
Oh, they're good at that. They're pros at that at age 7.
Yeah. I pick up Fortnite and I have no idea what I'm doing, and this kid's just running circles around me. But I like watching movies, man. I like going to the movies. That's always been a thing for me. I was a big film nerd in like high school and stuff like that.
Nice.
So anytime I can sit down with my wife and just catch a cool movie and relax for a few hours and unplug from the world is nice.
Did you see anything recent? This is summer season, tons of stuff coming out. Anything good or anything you really want to see that you haven't had a chance?
I just saw Top Gun Maverick, which was
so good,
better than the first one. It was amazing.
It was.
You know what I mean?
It was.
And it wasn't even on my radar really until people had seen it and they'd be like, "You have to go see this." And I was just like, "Yep, everybody was right." Like, I think Miles Teller's amazing ever since I saw him in Whiplash, and he didn't surprise me in that. Just the whole like actual story, because a lot of these reboots haven't been the best, but that one was really good. Nothing is ringing the bell off the top of my head.
Elvis, man. Are you gonna into it? That's a big talk these days.
I do want to see Elvis, actually. I saw the preview when I was at Maverick, and I was like, that actually looks very good. Not that Tom Hanks ever really makes a bad movie. So,
Yeah. No, those are two to see. I also saw the Black Phone, that Ethan Hawke horror movie. I have so many thoughts because like it was basically the same team that did Sinister, which was like a great horror movie that he was part of, and it's like great concept, but they didn't execute it well. It's kind of like a wrestling match when you have a dream match and then you're like, oh, you have so much hype for it, and then it just doesn't go right because the styles don't mix. That's the sort of reaction I had basically to it.
Well, that's the thing with me and Marvel movies. They're so hyped that like every single one that comes out is like, this is the greatest comic book movie of all time, and you're like, okay. And I go to see it and I'm just like, I mean, it was fine, it was good. It was like all Disney movies kind of fall in the same pile for me for the most part now, because you know the formula of what you're going to get. And that's why like Batman, I saw Batman on opening night and like it blew me away because it was just a different presentation, and Batman's been like the guy that I've been a fan of my entire life. So
they did a great job with him. Robert Pattinson. Who knew Robert Pattinson? I talked to all his former like Twilight co-stars, by the way, a bunch of them, and like, we never imagined this in the world that he would ever be Batman. We're all like blown away, like, what, that guy, that sort of thing. So it's kind of funny how things develop in life.
Yeah, I can't say I would ever pick him for Batman, but I knew that he would be very good because like anybody that's seen like Water for Elephants or anything else that he's been in other than the Twilight films, like he's amazing. So like I don't doubt anybody that's that skilled.
There you go. And you'd know that too, sometimes being looked down upon an underdog, and then you show it when you get your chance, right? So it's all about opportunity sometimes. As I let you go, by the way, you must be a Raptors fan. You think they have a chance to get KD? Like, there's a lot of talk that that might be one of the destinations. And I'm curious, as from someone that's, follows a team, would you want that? And do you think that's possible?
That's the right question right there. The chance to get KD, of course, we have the chance to get KD. We have the greatest general manager of the last 20 years in basketball.
And the coach too, was a hell of a coach, Nick Nurse.
This is true. I do not want Kevin Durant to come to the Raptors because I do not want to sacrifice any of the assets we have to get him. If
Scotty Barnes is too valuable.
To me, yes, absolutely. Like his basketball IQ is off the charts. The guy works his ass off. Like, he's gonna be a superstar in his own right. Why trade away your next 10 years for a guy that's going to be here for a year and probably complain and ask for a trade? You know what I mean?
Yep, like, exactly. That's my take, by the way, on the Raptors. I'm like, that's not a team. Phoenix, maybe some of these other like high power, maybe back to Golden State or whatever. I'm like, that's a good young team with a really good general manager that finds talent all over the world. You know what I mean? You don't want to mess the formula and just bear the whole cupboard, from that. So
Phoenix was my pick when all the stuff dropped. I was just like, it's going to be Phoenix. It's going to be a sign and trade for DeAndre Ayton and a bunch of picks, because I don't think there's anybody out there that's going to offer anything that has, like enough to like warrant a trade from a superstar perspective. And DeAndre Ayton's the next best thing, I think. So yeah,
and they have some pieces. They have Mikal Bridges. They have some good young guys too. They have the picks, and they're in championship win mode too. So they've been so close to the finals, been in the finals too. So that's one team that makes sense. But I'm like, yeah, the Raptors probably should just keep on grooming and building what they have, for the long haul. So
Yeah, and like the Phoenix thing, like Chris Paul's only got like a year left probably before he really falls off, because point guards always fall off around his age. He's sustained it probably longer than most, so it's
Literally.
just a matter of time for them. So they got to make a move while they can.
No question. Well, this was fun, Josh. I'm a fan of you. I'm glad to see how your careers turn out. I've been following for a long time, and now I know you're an NBA guy to talk to and a movie guy, which is my expertise here. I can't wait to catch up with you again, and definitely will be certainly looking out for your next victims, basically. In the ring.
Victims, yeah. I'm the one that comes out bleeding from all sorts
True.
of places with scars, but yeah, I have victims, I guess.
Hey, and you guys are coming to Chicago next month, so hopefully I get to maybe see you in person. That'd be fun too.
Yeah, absolutely. Say what's up if you do.
Absolutely. Josh, thank you for taking the time to talk to me. Really appreciate it. I know you had a busy day, and keep on, get some free time there for yourself. Maybe catch a movie if you can in the next couple of weeks.
I plan on it. Thank you so much, man. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.